Discover the extraordinary fragrance Ariana Grande REM Cherry Eclipse. Delight in black cherry jubilee, sugared honeysuckle, marshmallow meringue, and glowing amber. Get the perfect fragrance, Ariana Grande's REM Cherry Eclipse, exclusively at Ulta Beauty.
This episode is brought to you by Blink. Why wait for Black Friday? Blink Friday starts now with up to 65% off Blink Smart Security. Check on your pets all season long with new Blink Mini 2K Plus cameras. See your gifts arrive in head-to-toe view with Blink Video Doorbell. From pet parents to jet setters to busy families, Blink Friday deals have your holidays covered. Shop now at amazon.com/blink.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, all eyes on the meeting tomorrow between Zohran Mandani and President Trump. It is now scheduled for 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And boy, oh boy, is that going to be interesting. An afternoon meeting between President Trump and radical socialist Zohran Mandani, the New York City mayor-elect. And it wasn't that long ago, of course, that Mandani was blistering and slamming Donald Trump at every twist and turn. Remember, he's like, turn the volume up. Donald Trump, I know you hear me. That was on the night when Zohran Mandani won his election. And he also has consistently campaigned on being the guy who's going to block Trump. I'm the guy who's going to beat Trump at his game. I'm the one who's going to protect New York from Donald Trump. And now he realizes, surprise, 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 he needs Donald Trump because he needs the federal funds. And guess what? Maybe it's a good idea to work with the president of the United States. So Zohran Mandani seems to be a little more humble, but not that much. I say a little more humble because he has been soliciting and pushing for this meeting. Both sides say it was coming from Zohran Mandani's side saying, yeah, we want this meeting to happen and we would like to be able to come to the White House to meet with President Trump. So President Trump, I think it's incredibly gracious. I think it says a lot about President Trump, who he is as a person, that he's saying, yeah, I'll meet with Zohran Mandani. I'll meet with this guy who's been criticizing me. I'll meet with this guy who, in Trump's mind, is a communist. I'll meet with this person who is a radical democratic socialist, who has said defund the police, who has said open up the jails, who has talked about arresting Netanyahu, has said a lot of anti-Semitic, a lot of vile things. And all I got to say is, get ready. This could be one for the record books. I wonder, we don't know yet, will it be televised, the meeting? Remember the whole thing with Zelensky when they were going back and forth in the Oval Office, when Donald Trump and Zelensky had their little war of words, as we all remember that moment where things kind of suddenly erupted? Could it be like that? Will it be a much more kind of coy? Will it be a much more calm meeting? Who knows? I mean, who knows what this guy is going to say? He's saying, oh, I'm prepared for anything. Well, Donald Trump should be prepared for anything. I think it's incredibly gracious that Donald Trump so early on is meeting this guy. He hasn't even taken office yet. Remember, he doesn't start taking office till January 1st. So it's very, I think, really admirable of Donald Trump that he's willing to meet anybody, anytime, anywhere. And he's inviting him to the Oval Office, to President Trump's home there at the White House. So this is a big deal. It is kind of customary for a new mayor to be coming in. But talk about a contrast. You got the capitalist and you got the communist. And they're going to be meeting tomorrow. And boy, oh boy, get out the popcorn. This, I think, truly will be a meeting for the record books. Because I think Mandani is so dug in on his principles. He does talk in his little circles, but Donald Trump is clearly onto his game. And let's see, maybe he'll have in the Oval Office, maybe he'll have like a Jewish rabbi. Maybe he'll have Tom Homan. Maybe he'll have a whole bunch of people in the Oval Office. when that meeting happens. Wouldn't that be great? Who do you think should be in the Oval Office when Mandani has his little meeting there with President Trump? 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to The Rita Cosby Show. Well, it wasn't that long ago, as I mentioned, of course, Zohran Mandani has been throwing barbs left and right at Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is not taking any of this nonsense from people like Zohran Mandani. He's the leader of the free world. And it wasn't that long ago that he talked about Mandani and some of his crazy policies. And he even brought up our own owner of Red Apple Media and my co-host on Cats and Cosby. I'm the lucky one, the great John Catsimatidis. Listen to this. This is what Trump had to say about Mandani not that long ago.
Number one, you have a communist running, and you shouldn't vote for him. He's a disaster. He's leading. He's got the Democrat nomination because that shows you where the Democrats have gone. He actually wants to take over the grocery stores of John Catsimatidis, who's a great guy, a rich guy, grocer, does a good job, wants to take over. He actually called me the other day. He's concerned his stores are going to be taken from him, and they won't be run like John runs them. Believe me, he runs a good operation. But he actually said he wants to run his own grocery stores. No, this is a man who's not very capable, in my opinion, other than he's got a good line of bullshit. And he's convinced them to go with him. Now, as you know, Cuomo, who does have capability, is running, but he got knocked out. And now they're running as you have Eric Adams, the current mayor, you have Cuomo, and you have Curtis Lewa. And Curtis runs every 4 years. He seems to be a fixture on the running scale. But you know, it's... I'm not getting involved. But I can tell you this. I used to say we will not ever be a socialist country, right? Well, I'll say it again. We're not going to have... If a communist gets elected to run New York, it can never be the same, but we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to.
And thank God, because President Trump says he will be the check on Zohran Mandani now that he has been elected, because obviously that comment was before the election. And there's a lot of things that really concern me about Zohran Mandani. And it'll be interesting because Zohran Mandani today is coming out and saying when he goes to meet at the Oval Office with President Trump, he's going to talk to him about affordability and public safety. Now, I almost find that hilarious, the phrase public safety and Zohran Mandani. You got to be kidding me. So what is this guy going to be doing? Talking about how he wants to get rid of the Strategic Response Group, which is the group that responds to all of those protests that take place often all over New York City and many other cities across the country. Is he going to mention how he said defund the police and open up the jail cells over and over again? Is he going to talk about the fact that even to this day, he still wants to send a social worker versus a cop to a lot of very dangerous scenes? So this will be a really interesting conversation, especially if indeed Zohran Mandani is honest with President Trump and says, here's what I believe. Maybe just President Trump should bring out the old Democratic Socialists of America playbook and say, why don't we go through all these things? Will you condemn this comment? Will you condemn this comment? Why did you say it not that long ago? Will you condemn this one? Because for Zohran Mandani to be sitting there and acting like he's some arbiter of law and order, I'm not buying it. And I can tell you President Trump isn't going to buy it. So how do you think that meeting's going to go tomorrow? Tomorrow afternoon, do you think we'll see it? And who do you think should be in the White House? And is it going to erupt? Or do you think it actually might be a civil discussion and then Trump walks away going, boy, oh boy, oh boy. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to The Rita Cosby Show. Meantime, as we are talking about protests, there have already been a number of protests taking place in New York, just even in the last few days. And this horrible anti-Semitic mob, pro-Palestinian mob, descended on a very historic New York City synagogue, urging resistance to take out settlers, going after Jewish residents inside. It's horrible. And they were shouting at them, hundreds of them outside, shouting Intifada, Park East Synagogue. And it is run by the legendary Holocaust survivor, a historic one, Rabbi Mark Schneier. And yet these protesters, despite everything President Trump has been doing to help Gaza and Israel and peace and all these other things, these people are still out there chanting and shouting the most vile, horrible things. Earlier today, we talked with Karen Schneier, that's Rabbi Schneier's daughter, who's the executive vice president and works with him. And she said, this is not free speech. This is vile, hateful, threatening dialogue. This is well beyond crossing the line. And yet, this is the kind of stuff that Zohran Mandani seems to think is A-OK, is free speech. He already said, I'm not going to send the strategic response group to protests. But listen to this. This is what they were chanting last night outside this historic synagogue in New York City. And they were loud, and the people inside were terrified. They said they were darn right frightened. Here is Zohran Mandani explaining why he wants to dismantle this elite SRG unit, which is the Strategic Response Group unit, the very elite unit of the NYPD that responds to unruly protests.
I think that people are going to look at it and say, well, how can you get to those positive outcomes of public safety if you disagree on things like the Strategic Response Group? She wants to keep it. You want to get rid of it. Where did you land on that?
I continue to have my concerns around the Strategic Response Group because there are concerns around the fact of whether we can ensure that we're not only protecting New Yorkers, but also New Yorkers' ability to exercise their First Amendment rights. And I see with the commissioner a shared belief in the importance of that exercise as well as being able to protect New Yorkers. And I think when you look at No Kings, the protest where we had tens of thousands of New Yorkers come out in the streets and voice their displeasure with the federal administration that has been going after them time and time again, we saw that that was not only an exercise of their First Amendment rights, but also something that they were able to do safely.
Yeah, this is fitting. While we're talking about public safety, right? We hear the sirens going. So just to stay on that for a moment, the Strategic Response Group, is it going away, or was that a negotiation that she wanted to keep it?
No, I've made clear my concerns. I don't think that the NYPD Strategic Response Group should be how we respond to protests, and that's something that we'll be following through.
So it's going away.
We're going to have a different...
That's really classic. Don't you love it? They're doing the interview, and then you hear the police sirens in the background. I mean, that should say it all. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Norm in Brooklyn, line 2. Norm, your thoughts.
Yeah, Rita. Okay, you were wondering, trying to think of who should Donald Trump have
in the meeting
when Zohran Mamdani comes to visit. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, Rabbi, that's easy, that's a given. But how about a moderate Sunni Muslim imam? Maybe someone from the Bangladeshi community who doesn't want legalized prostitution or drag queen story hour in their community. Somebody like that.
That would be interesting. By the way, I'd love to have a member of the Strategic Response Group. You know, why not?
There you go.
Yeah. Why don't you have like the commander of the Strategic Response Group who's being honored with a Law and Order Police Award? You know, I mean, I hope that Trump, look, I have a feeling some of the conversation will be civil at least, but I also hope that Trump is also honest with him, because you want the best for New York City. But this guy, you don't want to have him be smoke and mirrors. And that's why, you know, to have a meeting like, oh, he's a wonderful man. I don't think that buys anything. It needs to be, you know, maybe in the face of it, it'll be that. But behind closed doors, I hope he says, listen, you know what? I want the best for New York City. I hope you want the best for New York City. And if you do X and X and X, then we'll get along. But if you don't do X and X and X, I'm coming in. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be withholding funds. Maybe I'll have a monitor the funds, an outside monitor. I mean, there's a lot of things he can do. But I like your idea of like a moderate imam, especially from the Sunni sect. That would be an interesting move. I think there should be a whole bunch of people who just happen to show up. I think anything that makes him sweat like he did during that second debate. Remember when the sweat was dripping off his head? I remember you and I, Norm, talking about that. That would be interesting. I can't wait to watch this tomorrow, Norm. It's going to be wild. Thank you so much, Norm. And everybody, we're going to continue your calls after the break. 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
Men need a store that has the right thing for their thing, like a Kenneth Cole suit made with Showflex fabric to keep them cool at their cousin-in-law's third wedding in the middle of July. Whatever the thing, Men's Warehouse has the clothes for it. Love the way you look, Men's Warehouse.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at amazon.com/new Alexa.
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we could calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
Well, the meeting is going to happen between Zohran Mandani and President Trump tomorrow afternoon. And this truly will be a wild meeting. Talk about two people that could not be further apart ideologically. And also look at the background. You got this guy, 34 years old, not a lot of experience, full of anti-Semitic and anti-police comments, walking in to President Trump, who's been a stalwart supporter of Israel, a stalwart supporter of capitalism, a stalwart supporter of the police. Capitalists versus communists, guys. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Rebecca in Brooklyn, line 3. What do you think, Rebecca, is going to happen tomorrow?
Okay, hi. To your point, I hope and I pray that President Trump wipes the floor with him and meets him where he is. There is no room to be easygoing with this guy. And because he has a dark and sinister agenda. And I know that Trump wants him to, be successful, but what does success mean? And even if he is successful now, he needs to be eviscerated because then he'll never go away. I'm literally praying for this.
And that's why I have so many mixed emotions too, Rebecca, because obviously, you want cities to succeed, you want America to succeed, but you don't also want this guy's breed of, democratic socialism and radicalism and his Islamist allegiances. You don't want them to succeed. It's interesting. I remember a comment now from Professor Dershowitz that he told me. He said his biggest fear is not only Mandani getting elected, but Mandani being successful, because then he fears it might open the door to all these other individuals like him. And there's already, what's her name? Katie Wilson in Seattle. That's the new Seattle mayor who looks up to Mandani. She's like a mini Mandani. So you want the city to do well, but you don't want this stuff to do well.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Getting ready to step into your career era? Set yourself apart with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Hone your skills with apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, and more, powered with the latest in creative AI. Students save over 55% so you can build a portfolio you're proud of. Launch your future with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Visit adobe.com/students to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. New players, new games, new rules. Squid Game, The Challenge returns for a gripping second season. 456 contestants from all walks of life, competing in the ultimate test of strategy, alliances, and endurance. For a life-changing prize of $4.56 million. With stakes this high, why make friends when you can make millions? Catch up on the latest episodes, now playing only on Netflix.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
Rita Cosby is on. The Rita Cosby Show presents Back the Blue.
And this Back the Blue segment coming from Hawaii, where an officer with the Kauai Police Department was honored for rescuing a hiker during a trail. And this is a hiker who got lost in a very, very steep terrain. This officer was flagged down by individuals reporting a missing hiker around 7 o'clock. And despite the onset of nightfall, the officer searched through about a mile of the steep terrain until he located the hiker. He immediately took care of the hiker by helping with dehydration and hypothermia, and said it was too steep for the hiker to go back, so he carried the hiker to safety. Then the hiker was taken to a local police department and is said to be recuperating thanks to the great work and the fast action and the courageous action throughout nightfall by this brave officer. And of course, we love and appreciate our men and women in blue here on the Rita Cosby Show. Well, tomorrow is a big meeting. Democratic Socialist Zohran Mandani, who has a lot of very questionable ties, he is going to be meeting with Donald Trump tomorrow in the White House. It's scheduled for 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And here is Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, talking about the meeting.
I won't get into the president's thinking on it. I think you'll all hear from him directly. I also think I will just add, it speaks volumes that tomorrow we have a communist coming to the White House, because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. I think it's very telling, but I also think it speaks to the fact that President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states or blue cities, in a city that's becoming much more left than I think this president ever anticipated in his many years of living in New York himself.
So, boy, oh boy, it will be interesting. We've heard of a lot of these questionable individuals tied to Zohran Mandani. There was the imam who was listed as a character witness for the person tied to the World Trade Center bombing in 1993. There were a number of other folks who said that America deserved 9/11. These are people that are in his orbit. Linda Sarsour, who is a very extreme activist. So exactly who are these people? And also, as we talk about this, the name the Muslim Brotherhood also comes up a lot. And this comes up because Greg Abbott just a few hours ago designated the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations, known as CAIR, as foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organizations. What that does is it bans the Muslim Brotherhood from buying or acquiring land in Texas. It also authorizes the Attorney General to sue to shut them down. So exactly who is the Muslim Brotherhood and what are their plans to infiltrate and also destroy America? Well, our next guest knows a lot about them. She is one of the top leading national security experts out there, a big New York Times bestselling author, also the chairman of Act for America, actforamerica.org, and a leading expert on global Islamic terrorism, the great Brigitte Gabriel. Brigitte, it's great to have you back here on the show. It's a long time I haven't spoken to you, and boy, oh boy, I can't think of a more timely moment. What are your thoughts as Zohran Mandani is going to be at the White House meeting with Trump tomorrow? What a contrast, huh?
What a contrast. And Rita, I'm delighted to be back with you, my beautiful friend.
You
I love
too.
you. I'm a big fan. It's going to be amazing. What would I give to be a fly on the wall tomorrow in this meeting? But look, I mean, talk about a contrast between the people who are going to be meeting. Here's President Trump, who built New York. Here's a businessman who created businesses, created jobs, hired employees, made a living for people who worked for him, built the city, encouraged, anything that made New York fantastic. And then you have Zohran Mandani, who never built anything. The guy never even ran a company. He never had to balance a payday, for, what do you call it? It's too late in the evening.
Right,
today.
a checkbook, right.
Payroll,
right.
I'm a head of an organization. You have to make payroll. You have to think, oh my gosh, how are we going to run the company? Are we going to have enough money after we pay our expenses, etc.? Zohran Mandani doesn't even have an idea of anything like that. There's a big difference between campaigning for office and running a city like New York City. So, New Yorkers, I think, need to be reminded that Venezuela used to be the third richest country in the world, and they went from being the richest country in the world in 1992 to basically eating zoo animals because of socialism. I hope New York will never get to that point, but, we'll see, and that's why we've got to hold his feet to the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things, Brigitte, that you talked about, I think it's really interesting. There were 76 Muslim candidates that ran for office nationwide just recently. 43 have been declared winners so far. What is this trend? Is it a population trend, or you believe that there's something much more, that there is also sort of some plan to infiltrate, that there's a master plan here?
There is a master plan, and this is very organized. And some of you listening to me right now may have seen me or my videos on the internet talking about the Muslim Brotherhood plan for North America. And Rita, you and I have talked about this many years ago. The Muslim Brotherhood wrote a plan in 1991 to infiltrate. It's a 100-year plan to infiltrate and dominate the West and establish an Islamic government on earth. In the counterterrorism circles, this plan became known as the Project. The Project, actually, this plan was introduced in the Holy Land Foundation trial, which took place in Dallas, Texas in 2007 and 2008, where our government handed down 108 guilty verdicts to Muslim Americans and Muslim American organizations raising money in the United States, almost $12 million, and sending it to the Middle East to support Islamic terrorists and Islamic terrorism. Now, many of the organizations listed in the Muslim Brotherhood were some of the backers of Mamdani. For example, the Muslim Student Association, which is listed as number 2 in the Muslim Brotherhood plan. And, of course, Muslim student associations have more chapters in American college campuses than the Democrats and the Republicans combined. And actually, Mamdani started his activism in the Muslim Student Association. They worked for his campaign. They helped get him elected. They are listed in the Muslim Brotherhood Project. And what makes the project so important, Rita, is they have here's a paragraph from the project. It's titled, Understanding the Role of the Muslim Brother in North America. And it says, quote, the process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process. The brothers, the Ikhwan, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers, meaning the Muslims. And so they're very clear and they are very direct about what they plan and what they want to do. And CARE, which came out of the Muslim Brotherhood, it's a front for Hamas in the United States, is the one who helped run the 76 Muslim candidates that 43 so far got elected. And CARE funded them through their federal super PAC titled the Unity and Justice Fund, which has been weaponized as a financial engine funding and winning U.S. elections.
Wow. And how well funded are they, Brigitte? And how widespread, like you talked about, obviously, Mandani's ties there. How widespread are they across America? I mean, are they in every single state? And what kind of money? And where are they getting the funds from?
Well, CARE is in every state, but I'm going to show you the ramification of the election, how far spread the victories that they have achieved. The newly elected officials, the 42, 43 that we talked about, span at least 9 states, Rita. So while all eyes were in New York, the Islamists were able to win elections in New York, Virginia, Michigan, New Jersey, Maryland, Washington, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. You didn't hear much about these elections at all. Nobody wanted to talk about them. But CARE has chapters nationwide. They have Muslim organizations nationwide. As a matter of fact, the 2025 elections shattered every record for Muslim representation in American politics, making a historic leap into municipal and state power. And by the way, CARE and its affiliates right now are preparing a 2026 directory of elected Muslim officials and expanding programs to mobilize more candidates before the 2026 midterm. So their eyes are on the 2026 midterm. And thank God, thank God this happened now. Can you imagine if this happened during the midterm? I mean, now at least it gives the Republicans and the conservatives 1 year to open eyes, to get ready, to realize we will have a fight on our hand in 2026. It's not going to be easy. President Trump is not going to be on the ballot, and we need to make sure we turn out our people and we make sure we organize communities. And that's exactly what my organization, what we are doing. My organization, actforamerica.org. actforamerica.org. Right now, we are mobilizing communities nationwide. We are organizing neighborhoods. We are setting up chapters nationwide. Go to our website, actforamerica.org. Click on Join Us. Join us. Start a chapter in your community. Sign up to volunteer if you have time to volunteer. Sign up to get our action alerts so we can reach you when there's an important action alert that we want you to take action on. We are getting ready for the 2026 election, and it starts today. So go to actforamerica.org right now, sign up to start a chapter, and join us.
And, I want to have you explain, Brigitte, because you understand this. What's the difference for our listeners between Muslims and between Islamists? There's a big difference.
Well, there are Muslims who could care less about what's happening around them. They just want to make a living. They want to put the roof over their heads. They love the faith aspect of the religion. A lot of people want to be spiritual. For example, look at all the African American community in America, the black Muslims, the Islamic nation. They can't even read Arabic. They've never read the Quran in Arabic. They like the structure and the discipline of the faith, and this is why the Muslim nation in the United States, the Islamic nation, they adhere to Islam. They are converting to Muslims, etc. But they are Islamists. Those are the ones with an agenda. They may not strap suicide belts on their bodies. They come dressed in Armani and designer suits. They've got the smiles like Mandani who can charm anybody. They are the Ilhan Omars who put a Somali flag in her office or in front of her office in Congress, and her loyalty, as we know, is to Somalia first, not the United States. The same thing with Rashida Tlaib. So there's a pattern between these Islamists who are being elected to office, who are pledging that they do not like America, they want to adopt different laws. I mean, look at Mamdani. He's already talking about, we need to come under international law in New York. Good luck.
Right, and to arrest Netanyahu, which is, his fault. Right. It's crazy.
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, where are we? Mogadishu? I mean, but this is what's happening, and that's why we need to organize and mobilize. And by the way, Rita, my biggest concern, even 2 nights before the election, we were having dinner with friends, and they asked me, Brigitte, what are you concerned about? What's your number one concern? And without hesitation, the word flew out of my mouth, apathy. And he looked at me, he was stunned. He said, apathy? I said, yes. I said, the Republicans are apathetic. They're not going to come out and vote the way they should because President Trump is not on the ballot. And that's exactly what happened, Rita. And that's our problem. The left is on fire for what they believe. You stop any 22-year-old socialist nitwit and ask him, why are you a socialist? They cannot even tell you what socialism is. But by golly, they are active, they are engaged, they show up to their elected officials' offices, they call them, they send them emails, they post on their social media. You talk to a conservative or a Republican and say, tell me, are you active? Are you engaged? And people say to me, oh, yes, Brigitte, I attend CPAC, I go to conferences, I go to the Republican Party meetings, we have great speakers, we sit, we have luncheons, they eat the rubber chicken, everybody pats themselves in the back, they feel so good about their meeting, they get their picture taken with the speaker, and in their mind, that's activism. That's not activism. That's entertainment. The left is active. We are getting entertained thinking that education is actually activism. That's not activism. We will teach you what activism is. Go to actforamerica.org. We will train you how to be a chapter leader. We will train you how to organize your community, how to mobilize your neighborhood, how to community organize to take back our country and to preserve America.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Well, Brigitte Gabriel, I love you, and it's so great to talk with you. You love this country. And everybody, be sure to check out actforamerica.org. And you can also go to BrigitteGabriel.com, too, also for details, too, as well. Brigitte, thank you. Keep fighting the good fight for America. We so appreciate it.
Thank you so much, my friend. Have a great evening.
You too. It's great to reconnect with you. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody, I'll take your calls when we come back. 1-800-848-9222. Brigitte certainly knows about the infiltration in America of Muslim Brotherhood and other groups. And boy, it could not be more timely.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Every leap in American history has needed breakthrough energy.
Ignition, liftoff.
Now, AI is here, and Chevron is working to power it. We're aiming to develop multi-gigawatt power plants near data centers, designed with future pathways to lower carbon intensity. AI gets the power it needs, communities get the jobs, and the grid stays strong. Powering AI today builds America's next superpower.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go to Mark in Manhattan on line 2. Mark, your thoughts tonight?
I hope Netanyahu is on the overnight flight to Washington Dulles and will surprise greet Mr. Mamdani, but that's too much to hope for after he just came here. But maybe the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Also, I hope they're going to frisk Mr. Mamdani, the Secret Service, that is, for both weapons, but also hidden microphones to maybe embarrass Trump and company.
Who knows? I mean, I hate to say it, these Democratic Socialists absolutely don't like President Trump. Some of them, many of their policies seem to me very, in my mind, anti-American. I mean, certainly anti-Israel. And Israel is one of our greatest allies. Are you surprised Trump is taking the meeting? And you look at the history. We just were talking with Brigitte Gabriel. Some of these people who Mandani is hanging around with, there's some very questionable characters, Mark.
Indeed. Well, my secret fantasy is that maybe the swimming pool at the White House can also be used for waterboarding.
Oh, Mark, you can't go there. He is an elected official.
I know that. I said it's my secret fantasy, but Mamdani would do that to Trump if the roles were reversed.
Well, all I can say is I'm not sure about that, but what I do believe is that it will certainly, they could not be further apart, Mark. There is no doubt about it. And some of these people that Mandani is hanging around with, and that still seem to be hanging around, I mean, there are people who've made some very incendiary comments in the past, and it is really troubling. And even his own father, some of these books that his father was writing with claims that, suicide bombers are misunderstood. How about Hassan Piker, the guy who is the social media guy who in the past, he's now since apologized, but in the past, he said America essentially, brought on, deserved 9/11. I mean, what do you think of these comments? It is really shocking that that's someone who has now been elected. And to your point about Netanyahu, the fact he keeps saying over and over again that he essentially would arrest Netanyahu, that he would, quote, abide by international law, which is such a bunch of hogwash because that doesn't apply to New York City. But this is some of the things that I hear are very dangerous for him. And I worry what's going to happen with some of these protests that are happening. It doesn't sound to me like he's going to want to squash a protest outside of a synagogue. Even if it gets really downright nasty, he's going to allow it to happen. That's my personal feeling. Your thoughts, Mark?
My final comment is, Columbia University, are you proud of what you produced and who you have on your faculty?
Yeah, by the way, you're right, because his father is on that faculty, Zohran Mandani's father. And I'll never forget, I was watching an interview not that long ago, Mark, and it was with the Democratic Socialists of America. It was a member of it. And they were saying, and I didn't know this until I watched this, where they said, this guy, I was wondering if Mandani, is he the son of the famous Mandani at Columbia who's written all these books, praising suicide bombers, all this? That's not something to be proud of.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.